Recorded Books and One Click Digital present The Homecoming by Robyn Carr, narrated by Thérèse Plummer.
Chapter 1. When Seth Sileski was a kid, Thunder Point was his playground. Even as a freckle-faced, tow-headed little kid, he'd held this town in the palm of his hand. He could run the fastest, hit the hardest, throw the farthest, and charm the most cantankerous teachers. His two older brothers, Nick and Norm Jr., affectionately known as Boomer, had also had great childhoods, but they never matched Seth's notoriety. He went from beautiful kid to adored adolescent to most popular and accomplished teenager. Great grades, superb athlete, handsome, a good and loyal friend. He'd had it all. And then, at the age of 20, his life took a dramatic turn, and all that great luck and good fortune seemed to blow away. Or, if you listen to his father, Norm Sileski, Seth threw it away. So now he was back in Thunder Point, a little scarred and damaged, but whole. And definitely humbled. He'd traveled a long way since leaving town at the age of 18, and if you told him 5 or 10 years ago that he'd return home, he'd have called you a lunatic. Yet here he was, and by choice. This time he was wearing a deputy's uniform. He was 34 years old, and his battle to regain a sense of pride and accomplishment had been mighty and difficult. Seth was taking over the Sheriff's Department Thunder Point substation from Mac McCain. He'd be the officer in charge while Mac moved to a lieutenant's position at the headquarters in Coquille. Seth had been back to town fairly often over the past 16 years. He visited his mother and tried to check in with his father. Every time he drove into this small coastal town, he was surprised by how little the place had changed. People changed, the economy changed, the world changed. And yet Thunder Point, Oregon, always seemed to remain the same. The linoleum in the diner had been old and cracked when he was a boy. All the same fast food establishments were present. Whalen's Bar was still the only real dive in town, and it looked frozen in time. In fact, Whalen still propped the door open with a paint can, as if he intended to paint the place. It hadn't happened yet. It was the second week in September, and school had resumed just a couple of weeks ago, so there was still a lot of optimism and excitement winding up the students. Those on bikes weren't staying out of the middle of the road very well, but a little whoop whoop from the police.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?